Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a hell of a show in store for you guys here today. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you sign up to our brand new free newsletter called Champions Digest. We have it pinned in the comment section below. You get no nonsense takes on the NBA and NBA news in under 5 minutes every Sunday. So please make sure you guys go ahead and do that. So recently we did a show where we were reacting to some comments that Stephen A. Smith made when he was essentially calling out Senator Mark Kelly, because at the time Senator Mark Kelly was essentially being attacked by Pete Hegseth, because they were trying to say that this guy was saying that you should disobey the chain of command, right? Stephen A. Smith made a complete buffoon of himself. So yesterday, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday, we produced a show where we were talking about Pete Hegseth. And we were talking about, we're going to hear anything from Stephen A. Smith on this issue. So as I was just kind of going through the internet, just following the news around him, because Pete Hegseth he's in a world of trouble, right? With what's been going on around him. I came across a report here from, what's the name of this channel? I got it from, I think it was from ABC, CBS News and Face the Nation. And it has the following headline saying, Pentagon Signalgate report finds Hegseth violated Defense Department regulations, sources say. So what we want to do is we want to play a little bit of this sound here just to catch maybe the rest of the audience up to what's going on here. And I'm going to continue on with the show. Take a listen to what this report had to say here.
The Pentagon's internal watchdog has determined Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth jeopardized sensitive military information and could have endangered American service members when he shared certain details about U.S. military operations in Yemen in a private Signal group chat earlier this year. This is according to a U.S. official and a person familiar with the report's findings. The report found the defense secretary violated Defense Department policies when he used his personal device for official business to transmit sensitive U.S. military information to other top Trump officials and the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine. That person was unknowingly on that thread, unknowing to the defense secretary. Sources say the report does not address the question of whether Hegseth declassified the information before it was posted in that Signal group chat. The House and Senate Armed Services Committee have received the report. The current version is classified. The redacted version is expected to be made public as early as tomorrow. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson joins us now. So, Eleanor, what more can you tell us about the report based on what sources are telling you?
Yeah, well, Lindsay, sources tell us that the report found that Hegseth did potentially endanger troops and the mission against the Houthis in Yemen in March when he shared these sensitive details over Signal. That's according to a source familiar and a U.S. official. If you remember, during the March Signal messages, the Pentagon was conducting a campaign against the Houthis in Yemen that ended up being Operation Rough Rider, with strikes against the Houthis for over 50 days. In that group chat that unknowingly had Atlantic editor Jeffrey Goldberg on it, Hegseth shared details about the platforms, the timing, when these strikes were going to happen. And the IG found, according to our sources, that could have endangered troops and risked the mission. Now, the classified version was delivered to Congress, the Hill, earlier this week, and an unredacted version for public release is expected tomorrow. The secretary, from the get-go, has said he did not share war plans over Signal, but what this IG found is that the details in those messages, at the very least, risked endangering troops.
Okay, I want to get back to Hegseth in a second, but the person who inadvertently added Goldberg to the message was, at the time, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, right? He's now the UN ambassador. Will this report address that part at all?
As far as we know, the investigation scope was about the secretary's use of commercial apps like Signal. What we may find in the unredacted version tomorrow is more than just the messages that were posted by The Atlantic. But what we learned in March about the messages is that Hegseth was the one who shared sensitive details, even though Mike Waltz was the one who inadvertently added him to the messages. one other thing, Lindsay, I want to note about what the sources tell us the report says is that the details that Hegseth shared in Signal were transmitted to him, shared with him by U.S. Central Command, which is the combatant command overseeing those operations against the Houthis. And the report, according to our sources, did find that U.S. Central Command shared those details with the appropriate secret, no foreign classification before they were shared in that group chat.
Excellent. So you heard what the report had to say. Now, just when you thought that things couldn't get worse, well, that's exactly what's happening. We have a Yahoo article, and it just says, just in, New York Times sues Pentagon over Pete Hegseth's press access rules. Now, as you guys know, the White House and this administration issued some new rules to media members that if they don't adhere to, they won't be having access to the White House, and some media organizations decided to just boycott and leave, right? Well, it seems like the New York Times is pushing back. So this article says New York Times has announced it's suing the Pentagon, accusing the Department of Defense of engineering an unprecedented purge of traditional reporters in favor of pro-Trump digital influencers. The lawsuit, to be filed in Washington, D.C., names the Department of Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth as chief spokesman, Chief Spokesman Sean Parnell, and asks a federal judge to strike down the new access rules imposed in October. Beat reporters refused to sign a policy and instead surrendered their passes in a mass act of protest, including journalists from conservative-leaning networks like Fox News and Newsmax. The policy is an attempt to exert control over reporting the government dislikes in violation of a free press right to seek information under the First and Fifth Amendments right protected by the Constitution. Times spokesperson Charlie Statlander said on Thursday. He added, "The Times intends to vigorously defend against the violation of these rights, just as we have long done throughout administrations opposed to scrutiny and accountability." Hegseth previously brushed off criticisms of his policy, insisting the curbs are rooted in national security, but media groups say the episode fits a broader pattern of the Pentagon's embracing cultural war influences while veteran correspondents wait outside the building. So that's what that report had to say there. But it gets worse, right? And I'm going to go back to the title of this particular show here, because apart from the fact that they're saying that he violated the Defense Department regulations, we also have an article here from, what's the website? AP News. And I want to read a little bit further. It says, Pete Hegseth faces deepening scrutiny from Congress over boat strikes. It just keeps going on, right? It says Pete Hegseth barely squeaked through a grueling a Senate confirmation process to become Secretary of Defense early this year, facing lawmakers wary of the Fox News Channel host and skeptical of his capacity, temperament, and fitness for the job. Just 3 months later, he quickly became embroiled in Signalgate, and he and other top U.S. officials used the popular Signal messaging application to discuss pending military strikes in Yemen. A Pentagon Inspector General report delivered to lawmakers Wednesday found his actions posed a risk to personnel and missions. And now, in what may be his most career-defining moment yet, Hegseth is confronting questions about the use of military force and demands he release the videotapes after a special operations team reportedly attacked survivors of a strike on an alleged drug boat off the coast of Venezuela. Some lawmakers and legal experts say the second strike would have violated the laws of armed conflict. These are serious charges, and that's the reason we're going to have special oversight. Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi, the Republican chair of the Senate Armed Service Committee. Now, we also have one more report that I want to get to. Where is it from? Okay, no. Apparently, it's not this one. So what are my thoughts about this, right? What are my thoughts about this? Look, Pete Hegseth seems to be in over his head. The blunders are becoming too they're happening too much, right? The frequency is just becoming alarming, right? It's becoming alarming. He's making too many blunders. He's already under investigation for this second strike that we just mentioned, and a lot of it, when you listen to some of the things that he says in terms of his retort, it's almost like as if, oh, this is just fake news. Oh, I mean, these guys are just making it up. I mean, there's no big deal. Did you hear the president, although I think now he's taking a more defensive stance in terms of defending him, but initially when he was asked about this on Air Force One, he said the first thing he did was he absolved himself of the entire situation. He said this was an initiative that was done by Pete and the rest of them, and now they're actually, oh my God, they're actually trying to skirt issue to the commanding officer and say, well, Pete is saying, well, I didn't see anything that was going on. Right? He's basically trying to escape blame. And for a guy that is as vocal as he is, and is out there talking about when he held that meeting with all of the generals from all over the world, they came in there to sit down and talk to them at the, I think in Virginia. For a guy that's talking about following procedures and making sure we dot our I's and cross our T's, for you to be out here making all of these blunders. And now you're bringing all types of negative press to this particular administration is not a good look. And if this investigation, if they deem after looking at those tapes that he did commit a war crime, I don't think he's going to remain in that position for much longer. You can't keep him there. Kash Patel is already under a lot of scrutiny with the job that he's been doing as the director of the FBI. So this isn't looking good. And the president, what we do know is that he has a very short leash. After a while, if he feels like you're a screw up, he'll cut you off. He'll fire you, and that will be the end of it. So I have a few questions for you guys. Number one, do you think that Pete Hegseth is in over his head? Number one. Number two, do you think President Trump, if Pete Hegseth keeps attracting more negative press, do you think Trump will fire him? Do you think he will fire him? Because I believe he will. Trump seems like someone that's not going to suffer fools, especially if it's going to have a negative impact on him. He's just not going to do it, right? When it comes to that, he is ruthless at firing people. I mean, he doesn't waste a moment, and he'll fire you, and you'll become his enemy, and he won't look back for it, not even once, right? So I'm very interested to hear what the audience has to think about this. Also, if you guys are enjoying these shows, please let me know in the comments, and we'll continue to produce more. Also, if you think there's some things that we can improve upon, please let me know. This is not really our forte here. We're a sports channel, but I also have some interest in some of these issues that are occurring around the world. We don't bombard you guys with the content. We do it periodically. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section. I'm really looking forward to hearing your feedback on this. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.